Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. You see the trees behind me are beautiful this fall season. I love the leaves. We're starting to get some leaves coming down now, so that's really nice. And the colors are just gorgeous. So hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for all the comments and feedback and all the things that we've gotten with information, and trying to do as much as on this channel as we can in trying to promote the better person, the best man, the ideal person. And certainly I'm not forgetting about women, but I want to make sure that we focus on males. I have a lot of questions from male viewers, so that's why I kind of choose to go with a lot of that. If you have a female out there who wants to ask a question, I'm happy to answer that as well, and try to answer at least. I'm not an expert, but I give you my opinion from all the years of experience, and not only teaching, but going through this journey that I'm on right now. And I think it's 513 days, something like that, and 43 days, I believe, of hard mode. I gotta double check it, but that's what I think it is. So I want to also thank and give out shouts. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Nasir. I think I forgot to do that. He was giving me a question on anxiety. I may have not stated it. So Nasir, thank you, my friend, for that question and how we handle if retention helps you on anxiety, and it certainly does. And so I hope you had a chance to look at that video, and I did that I think a few days ago. I also got great questions from Pump 20 on the exercise and core, and getting excited, aroused, that type of thing. I'm also got a good question from Alan on who's really controlling you, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about that one. And then Young Justice had a nice question on seeing angel numbers, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. And then also Oscar, when do they see the actual benefits of retention? I also am going to start going back, try at least once a week of getting a person and analyzing their body movements and nonverbal communication. And we're going to do Tupac. Thanks, Carl, for that suggestion. And we're going to focus on doing that over this weekend as well. Okay, so a pretty busy weekend. This one I'm going to kind of go with back to Alan on this one, because I want to kind of talk about this one. So please subscribe, comment, like. But we're going to talk about this one. Alan had a good question talking about who is the one who is really creating all these issues that we have in our society. And let's talk about this from a big standpoint, because we look at this has been the same story we've had through the history of the world. When you look at the history of the world, and you've seen this over and over and over again, the same human stories. We have a bunch of people who feel like that all they want is being peaceful. And so we have people who are on a peaceful life, happy life, and they want to be prosperous and kind of do well. And those kind of people are not the people that want to control other people. Then you've always had in society people who want to control, and they want to be that controlling body. And so they want power, they want control, they want status, they want to be able to gain those type of things. And in my mind, my friends, it comes more down to the fact of whether you have God with you or not. If God is with you, the more God is with you, the less you have a need to control the people. And the less you have a need then to try to do things that really manipulate, control people in our society. And so the more you have God, the more you're going to show love, and you're aware of those type of things out there, but you don't have the need to control, because you have your happiness, you have your peace. And so on this retention plan, my level of peace, my level of happiness is very positive, is really peaceful. Now, yes, I'm going through some stress with job situations and different types of health situations when it comes to our things we're dealing with in society out there. Dealing with some of the stress of some of those type of things, and you're dealing with all kinds of different issues. But the thing is that at the bottom of it all, in final analysis, I'm still very much at peace, and it just gets better and better. And Oscar, I will talk about the benefits in another video, but the benefits are just so clear to me, and I'm so much at peace. Even meditating, my focus level, all these are so much better because of retention, and I just can't tell you how great this is. Now, and obviously the 1% Club, you guys are there, you guys know that. Now let's talk about this, but let's talk about the other end of this, because even though you may be at peace, you may have a good relationship with your God, your Creator, you also recognize that there is evil out there, and there is evil, right? And I've come to believe that over all these years. There is evil people who want to, for whatever reason, either they don't care about you, or they purposely want to be better than you. And they want to put you at a different position so that their position is not threatened. And guys, this has happened for a long time. We've always had elite people in every sort of dynasty, every sort of world we're in. We've had people who want to be in charge. This is a human nature that people want to have. They're not happy, they're not satisfied, and so they have to control the people, right? We've seen this in the book, Bible, many books, different books in the history of people, right? And some people ruled with God, and some people ruled without God. You got to look at what happened to David and Solomon and all these people, and always through Napoleon and Caesar and everybody, what happens when you have God and when you don't have God. Pharaoh, we see all that. We know the examples of people when they don't have God. They eventually self-destruct. But the idea is that people have this nature where they want to control the people, feeling that it's important to have this power, because if I don't, then I'm going to become a slave or something else to other people. And so as Alan's asking a good question of what's happening behind all this, we know that all these things that are in society, I call this the blue pill, back to our movie The Matrix, right? The blue pill. When you look at the blue pill, you know that people basically are trying to mold society, whether it's directly or just as a collective nature. They're trying to go ahead and create things in society to benefit them. And we see this all the time, okay? Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been a lot of great inventions and things to help mankind over the years. Of course there is. All you got to do is look at the medical field and technology, and there's a lot of great inventions that we've had. But there's also a lot of people who are evil in their minds, in their behaviors, in their spirits, which is where this comes from. I mean, the mind just works from the spirit. And you have people who are evil, just like with Adam and Eve and Satan, right? You have people who are evil. Cain and Abel, good example of that too. One was good, one was bad. So what you got to do is recognize that, and recognize that everything you do is going to be somehow influenced, one way or the other, by people who have evil intentions. So let's look at some of these things. The one that we deal with the most, retention-wise, guys, is your whole pornography industry. Now, yes, they're making tons of money, but they know full well why. Now, isn't it funny that people are making tons of money on things we would normally call sins, or things that would go against what we should be doing, right? Look at the money they make on the porn industry. It's billions of dollars a year. And that's because people are doing things they shouldn't do, and what they probably are not allowed to do in most societies. Now it's become a lot more lenient, and that's the trouble with sin. It becomes more lenient as time goes on, and people don't look at it as sin anymore. And this is what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah. This is what happened in Babylon. This is what happened in the Roman Empire. This is what's happened everywhere. It's going to happen here too with people. At some point, the sin becomes unrecognizable because you're not checking yourself at the door. You're not checking in. You're not saying this is wrong. And the same things happen with pornography, right? People continue doing it. But the real money makers behind this are the people they're putting out there, right? Those are the people who know that, people are going to struggle. And yeah, they may have some kind of warnings, but let's look at this realistically, guys. When you look at warnings, whether it's drinking warnings for alcohol, yeah, if you need help, go get AA, right? Gambling, oh, you need help. But it's just something at the end. They're still promoting making money on gambling, hoping that people, in some ways, you have to wonder whether or not they really want you to become addicted, because they're going to make tons of money on this. And the same thing with eating, especially fatty foods, right? All these sugar foods, things like that, pop and things like that. It's very easy to get addicted. And people in these marketing, in these companies, they know people can get addicted very quickly. And because they can get addicted very quickly, right, then all of a sudden, now they've made their money. And now they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing it to get people until they can control themselves. So guys, the key here again, and this is what we've always said, and I think Cicero said this as well, the key is to control thyself. Because you're going to see temptation, you're going to see all the evil spirits behind this who are going to run this, and they're trying to make money. They're trying to get people in ways, whether they consciously do it or subconsciously do it, they want to make people slaves to all their sins and desires. And this is why I think you were right. Irko, I think it's IRKO, thank you. And you're right, Sofas, and a lot of other people who've talked about the fact, in our viewership, who talk about the fact that lust and desire is bad. Well, people play into that. And all the media and all the advertisements and marketing play into it. And if you repeat it over and over and over again to somebody, they're going to eventually think there's nothing wrong with it. And we see this all the time with all these deviant behaviors you see. It's amazing what I see in television shows now. Deviance, right? And I just turn away from it. And sometimes people get upset the fact I turn away from it. Oh, can't you accept this? What's wrong with you? Some kind of phobia or something, right? It's not a phobia, my friends. You're turning away from sin. This is what you're turning away from. And what happens is people are lost right now. People are lost just like Sodom and Gomorrah was. People are lost just like the Babylon was. And eventually they're going to find that God is real, and that they've gotten so far away from God, they've ignored God, and God will come back to them. This is why, to me, it's so important to stay on retention. Because Alan is right. The real thing is behind this, we're not fighting against people. You're fighting against spirits and principalities. Those are the people driving these people. It was funny, I watched one of my movies on Bela Lugosi, and I think it was called The Corpse Vanishes. And I'm sitting there watching this in 1932 or something like that. And I'm sitting there watching this, and this is a story about that they kill young brides to drain their glands and actually go ahead and help other people, right? To keep people younger. Where we heard that one before, right? These things have been going around for thousands of years, my friends. So nothing really changes, right? The same attitudes and approaches people have still been around. And so the story of life never changes, right? The story of life doesn't change. People are people. So you've got to learn to control yourself. And this is why this journey becomes important. Because people are going to be telling you a lot of blue pill types of things, telling you this is the way it should be. But you got to stand up. You got to make a stand and say, look, I'm going red pill. I'm going to go and look at what the real truth is of many things that we're dealing with. And the key one is retention. All right, guys, until next time, battle on. And thank you, Alan, for that question. And we'll move to another one in the next video.